All right, so the first thing that's critical, and I'll go into each of these in detail, is a persistent ID. Unfortunately, it sounds like Big Brother, we need a number over my head that never changes from the time you first see me in the system until I leave the system. And it's not my account number with you. It's a persistent ID. We need analytics, and I'll go into detail on that. We need an offer catalog. For the first time, now I did a lot of study on this over the last 2 years. There really is, what did we all learn in marketing? Somebody help me. What are the most 4 important things? The 4 Ps, right? Now, what are those Ps? Price, promotion, product, place. But no one has ever taken those and determined how those kind of relate to an offer. There's no defined formal offer taxonomy out there for defining offers. Well, we need one, and it's got to be an emerging area of research. But we need an offer catalog. If we're ever going to blend analytics and our ability to deliver things through digital channels, we need an offer catalog. Normalization and optimization I'll go through really quickly because it's boring. And we need a way to get it out to the consumers. The most interesting and important thing, though, is persistent ID. We have lived, those of us in direct mail, right, for years on the notion of a match code, where you pull pieces out of the name and address and stuff. Well, each company does match codes differently, and that doesn't really work. What we need today is this. You want to say, okay, short code this to get this, and a cell phone comes in. So you throw that into your database, right? And then you want to text that person and say, go to this URL, and I'll give you an incentive to give me your email. When they go to that URL and register with their cell phone, you get the email, you tie those two together, right? Both of those relate to the same ID up here. And when they do finally purchase from your website and you get an address and the email and you attach it to that email, and then now you have the physical address, right? So you're building stuff up over time around that consumer. If you've got multiple brands and each brand assigns like each brand website assigns its own unique ID when they register, you got to tie that in back to the persistent ID. And the only way you can do that is with a very robust, what we call a reference database at the bottom of that, which is millions and millions of records from every available source, utilities and telephones and things like that, tying all this stuff together. That's why this has been out of the reach of most companies, only the big companies, Axiom, Epsilon, Experian, and no internal companies, except maybe for Williams-Sonoma, had the resources to build a referential database in-house. Well, more and more companies are doing this as the cost of data processing comes down, and disk comes down, and data comes down. And then we're starting to add social media. You can take an email address and bounce it against every social website in the world and see who's doing what, right? Through their APIs. So you can pull in social data. All right, so you get their IDs here. So @BobFetter becomes something that adds into this. And eventually we'll expand this thing to include set-tops, the IP address of the television itself, which the cable companies are starting to do, Google's starting to do through Project Canoe and others. So this thing needs to be there so that no matter how I interact with you, it all ties back to that one ID.